And let's see if we're live, guys. I'm testing something new here, and let's see. So bear with me, man. There's a little bit of a technical thing here potentially, but I think perhaps it is working. And if you are coming in here live on Jon Rognerud Live, hey, thanks a lot. If you are coming out on Facebook and also on the podcast, also, thank you very much. It's super exciting to use all this technology, and when it works, it is phenomenal, as you probably can relate. So we're just going to give this a shot here because the multi-streaming is saying we are live and good to go. So I'm going to do a double check here. And by the way, I'm using something called StreamYard, guys and gals. You should check that out. Very cool. Okay, so I think we're good. All right, so here today, this is Jon Rognerud once again. Hey, if you have any questions, please fire away. But I wanted to get this out here. What you're looking at is a diagram, and it's one that I want to take you through right now. There's two sort of layers to it, a one and a two. And we're going to cover essentially how you can activate dormant prospects, so existing prospects that are in your pipeline, that are in your CRM, customer relationship management software. Some people would say your email system, right? And also selling more to current customers, right? So you have existing customers, clients, patients, whatever that industry is for you. Then hey, great. But let's up the ante here. And for you all that are familiar with this will be, of course, home turf, a very powerful kind of approach here. As it is simple, it's not just straightforward. So I want to just kind of take you through it. And the end result is good here, man. It's super exciting. We do a lot of this. And you've heard me talk about on these broadcasts before the notion of, cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic, right? Well, what works best for sales? Well, it's harder to convince somebody who hasn't heard of you or doesn't know about your services, your products, etc., to come in and actually just buy from you. And many touch points in the old days, it was, the 7+ touch points for somebody to buy. Now it's, quadruple that amount. We have to put out so much content, and we have to do so much sort of jumping around, song and dance. But actually, what you're really doing, as I'm doing right now, is creating content to help create goodwill and ultimately be able to change people's lives. I mean, this stuff is out there, but it's not always easily accessible. And I try and kind of distill this down to some simple advice and some simple steps for you so that you can implement it yourself. And so here is my activating dormant prospects and selling more to customers, current customers presentation. So number one here, we start looking at your database world. So this is one of the things we do at the agency also, is we look at your current world, right? Your current situation. So what's going on? And there's multiple aspects to this, but we're kind of diving right into the back end right now, your database, the CRM, as I said, and that could be Infusionsoft, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Aweber, custom CRM solutions. We have a client right now in San Diego, have a very large database of emails, essentially customer data. And it's none of the popular ones out there, right? So there's some big corporations that have their own custom homemade ones, as well as, third-party purchase as well, kind of intricate systems in the back end there. But anyway, so we're going to take a look at this. So on the left side, you see the various products, and it has a database image here. Basically, that's the image for a database, a CRM here. And basically what we have is we have buyer profiles. That's this track right here. So those are your current customers. They're actually buying from you. They have bought in the past. They're actively buying now. There's a history here, right? So that's A track, right? The B track here, right below it, are subscribers. And I call those dormant. So if the A track is current, then the B is dormant, meaning they've subscribed. They haven't really bought anything yet. This may be typically a larger segment of the email list, right? But this is gold here. This is essentially what I put over here on the right. You own this data. This is yours. And this is gold for advertising. And if you're not leveraging this in the right way right now, and this is true for Facebook as it is Google, I'm going to kind of talk about Facebook here today. But the idea that you can load up these data points, these data sets with email name information and create a retargeting or remarketing lists is profound. And that's where really the magic lies in this presentation today. So I'm going to just take you through it here. As I said, we've covered the A track, we've covered the B track with the dormant. And by the way, when I talk about buyer profiles and subscriber profiles, really there's a wide data set here with address information, zip code, zip plus, etc. I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm talking about name and email, and really just emails. I mean, you want to give Facebook and these data providers, these data platforms, these advertising platforms a little bit of data to work with. But essentially, name and email is the most important here. So that's really sort of level one, if you can kind of look at that map right there. And by the way, if you want this chart, I'll create a PDF for you. Just write a note in the comments section and I'll fire that off to you. No worries. Because you may be somebody who's working with a team here, or maybe you're executives, maybe you're a consultant, or maybe you're part of an agency. If you're an agency, you probably know about this already. But create something similar and send it off to explain how this works. So level one, right? And then what you do is you export the name and emails to a CSV, and that's what you see here. And step two, or level two, is just finish this series of events, right? So after you've exported that CSV and vetted that, you can import the A level or the A track and the B track, the existing buyers and the dormant ones. Typically segment those, right? So you don't want to necessarily lop them all together. You know, this is all about keeping data integrity and sort of the cleanliness in check. Yeah, so basically upload your buyers and upload your subscribers, and you send that off to Facebook, right? So you can do this through the Facebook Ads Manager. Once you've loaded that in there, it's going to take a moment to start compiling and start fact finding in terms of who belongs where. So this is profile matching here now. This is a hashed table that gets created, and it's secure, so no need to worry, right? Once Facebook has done its fact-finding mission and digestion of this data, it's going to be able to allow you to create essentially what you're doing is you're creating a custom audience, but you're building these audiences out for these segments, and we like to see at least 1,000 in each. Higher is better. And you can get away with lower as well, but we don't typically see as good results. But clearly, this is an ongoing exercise. But if you have 50 emails, this is going to be tough to do, right? You want to crank up your marketing and build that list there. Anyway, so Facebook takes this data and allows you to see these custom data points inside Facebook, and it gives you guidance numbers in terms of what this looks like. So if you load it up, 10,000 buyer emails. It's not going to say 10,000 exactly in Facebook. Typically, it's less by some 20% plus, meaning minus in terms of the actual count number, right? But that's not as important as in you just have valid data going in, right? And by the way, here's where you don't want to purchase lists. And this goes against TOS, right? Terms of service. This has got to be vetted information. Now, there are options as you're importing this to specify where the data came from. But we like to go white hat on this, and this model uses your existing data here. That's what I'm focusing on. If you want to kind of go a little bit gray or black here, feel free, but that's not what we do. So these custom audiences are now available. I mean, how cool is this? Available to be marketed to through Facebook. So you can advertise with these warm audiences or hot audiences. Warm might be considered the subscribers, right? And hot would be the buyers. I mean, to do this is really strong. By the way, there's an option to also do LTV in here so that you can look at the history and extract that and compile audiences based on that information. Some very, very powerful ways in which you can target these good folks that want your products and services. Now, this is just one way using CRM data, email here. There's many others, of course, to create these retargeting lists in Facebook, videos, engagement on the pages, engagement on lead forms, engagement on web traffic, many different ways to do this. But I wanted to show the email example here today because it's one thing that we really see We do very well with it because we actually have some clients that have pretty sizable databases with some good customer data points. So I'm using that as an example right here, right now. But ultimately, what you're doing is you're taking valuable data from your back end and shoving it up. That's the technical term, shoving it up to Facebook and letting it do its CRM matching, creating those match lists, and then creating a database essentially of, that's what that picture is here, the database of those profiles that match that segment on Facebook. And as I said, very similarly on Google, you can do this kind of stuff, right? So, and again, here's where Google is going to also be a little bit more finicky depending on your industry. We do a bunch of work also in the health industry and medical, etc. So you want to just check with the terms of service and the policy guides, etc., to make sure you're compliant there. But ultimately, this is a very, very cool and simple way for you to sell more, to position your products and services in front of warm and hot audiences, because they ultimately know, like, and trust you more than the cold traffic. So anyway, this is kind of a short demonstration and a short walkthrough here. But I hope this was helpful for you. And now I'm going to see if it actually recorded all this. It says here that it's on YouTube and Twitch and Ustream and Periscope, and actually Facebook is coming later. Had some technical issues, but I'm going to upload this there. And hey, if you like this kind of stuff, why don't you head on over to JONROGNERUD. That's JonRognerud.com. That's the kind of stuff that we do all day long. And happy to help you get your Facebook ads rolling. We're actually taking on a couple of clients now. 2 clients is the max, but we want to talk to you all out there because we have a lot of training materials and data points that we can share, and also resources and tools. If you go out to jonspodcast.com or just search for media and marketing on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify, I have a lot of information there. And in fact, I'm thinking, this is late night Los Angeles today, but I'm thinking of actually posting this out to the podcast for tomorrow because we have such a busy schedule here. We will try and get this out, some of it tonight and definitely tomorrow. And of course, if you'd like to have this slide here, I'll PDF for you this document or this slide here, and then you can take a look at it and hey, have at it. But yeah, take action. If you need any help, just shoot me a message and we'll connect. All right. Let's see if this works. See you later.